A bell was tied to the corpse's ankle to prevent the appearance of death. In times when medical science was undeveloped, seeming death was common. Tying a bell became a tradition for coroners. If the deceased suddenly came back to life, the bell would ring. However, when the woman tried to lift the shroud, the bell suddenly rang. It turned out this was all just a prank, but the father and son were careless. What happened next? Even they, who had been coroners for so many years, had never seen before. This female corpse was temporarily sent from a murder scene. The room was stained with blood, but the doors and windows were intact, with no signs of break-in. The only clues that could be found, apart from the murder weapon, were on this female corpse. The woman's manner of death was full of strangeness. Her ankle joints were crushed, but there were no external injuries on her feet. Her eyes were cloudy, clearly dead for several days. But during the autopsy, they found her body was still bleeding, indicating she had only recently died. Most terrifyingly, her tongue was cruelly severed, leaving her unable to make a sound. Coroner John speculated that before her death, her hands and feet were tightly bound, causing her joints to fracture. Her tongue was cut off to prevent her from making noise, but these were not fatal wounds. The true cause of death still needed to be found through dissection. John cut open the lungs and found they were severely blackened. The heart also had multiple knife marks. However, what puzzled him more was that although the internal organs were severely damaged, there were no obvious wounds on the exterior. Just as the two were about to continue the autopsy, a strange noise suddenly came from outside. Jack went out to check and was horrified to find a person's image appearing on the corridor mirror. When he approached, he found the corridor empty. Jack returned to the autopsy room and suddenly discovered that the corpse refrigerator had inexplicably opened. More and more anomalies made him uneasy. He quickly closed the refrigerator and then continued the autopsy. John found that a flower was actually hidden in the corpse's stomach. He looked up information and found this was a type of flower that could numb the body. Apparently, the deceased was forced to swallow this flower before being tortured. Jack was completely frightened and wanted to wait until tomorrow to continue investigating. But John insisted on not giving up. The police had already specifically instructed them to find the cause of the woman's death before dawn, no matter how dangerous. They had to keep digging. Finally, they found a crumpled piece of paper containing a tooth that perfectly matched the dental impression in the female corpse's mouth. The paper had a mysterious pattern drawn on it, as well as some Roman numerals. John seemed to have some clues. This looked more like some kind of ancient ritual. To verify this guess, John cut open the corpse's outer skin and shockingly found the same mysterious pattern inside the body. At this moment, a tragic female singing voice suddenly came from the recorder, followed by the lights beginning to flicker, then completely going out. In the dark environment, Jack turned on his flashlight and was stunned. All the corpse refrigerators were automatically opening. He hurriedly pulled his dad and ran. The two rushed to the elevator, but found it had no power. They wanted to run out of the basement, but the door was blocked by a large tree. The basement was airtight with no cell phone signal. The two panicked and rushed into a room. As soon as they caught their breath a little, a series of bell sounds came from outside. Could it be that this time it was really a case of the dead coming back to life? This horror movie is called Jane Doe,